Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. So, I had to get into it. Of course, this is a huge release that just came out. I had to pick it up because I absolutely love this movie. But we're going to be talking about the 4K of Exorcist, or The Exorcist. And then we're going to be talking about the Steelbook. And we're basically going to compare the two. I usually do this with 4K upgrades for the most part, if I get them. Sometimes they're few and far in between just because, I don't think certain things are worth an upgrade. But either way, it's The Exorcist. It's one of the best horror movies of all time. So, let's get into it. Alright guys, so let's just jump straight into the movie. If you haven't seen it, you're probably living under a rock. Even if you don't like horror movies, really this movie is iconic. I mean, it goes without saying, especially when the movie was first in theaters, people were walking out because this movie was just so horrific that they couldn't stand to watch it or they couldn't stand to finish it. I mean, we have the tubular bells, we have the score in general is amazing. William Friedkin did a great job with this movie overall. It's very eerie and it's creepy, and honestly, there's some parts of this movie that are very hard to watch, especially if you're like a new to horror. But basically, this is her story about slowly getting possessed, and then of course two priests have to come in and just exorcise that demon. It sounds simple. There's a lot of extra ins and outs of this plot. There's a lot of, kind of death and dealing with that, and just overall, it's a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. So we're gonna get into picture quality first, but with that being said, let me know how you like the background, the lights, moving this little guy over here, because we kind of did some moving around. I might have put it on this channel, I might have put it on my TikTok. Either way, it's somewhere out there if you want to see it. But I just got some new lights up. We moved this guy, kind of redid the background here just to kind of give us some more room. So let me know down in the comment section below, what you like, what you don't like, what you think just looks dumb. Who knows? Let me have it. But either way, just give me your opinion, because, why not? And like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, do all that fun stuff. Help me get to 500 subscribers. But it's a shameless plug. We're not going to talk about that anymore. We're going to talk about the 4K upgrade for this movie. One thing I really do like about this release is that the theatrical version and the director's cut both get a 4K native upgrade, which I absolutely love, because there are a lot of releases, or at least as of late, that we're just not getting that. We're getting the theatrical version as a 4K, and then we're getting the director's cut or extra, certain cuts, TV cut, whatever comes with it, as a Blu-ray, and that's it. So that's one thing I do appreciate with this, at least, is that you're getting both on 4K. So if you like the director's cut, watch it on 4K. If you like the theatrical cut, watch it on 4K. It's pretty simple, but let's get into the actual picture quality. Again, I'll probably have them scrolling already, but I'm going to put photos here and here of the Blu-ray and the 4K. I always like to do that. That way you guys have an idea. It's not just me kind of talking and then you see it later and you're like, wow, this guy sucks. Like, what was he even talking about? So I always post photos. Again, they're not the best definition of what a 4K is going to be when you look at it on your TV with your eyes, but I try and get close to it. It's a 4K camera, 4K TV, basically taking a screenshot of it and then posting it here for you guys to see Blu-ray and 4K. But I don't think this is the definition of like masterpiece 4K upgrade. I really don't. I will say, for the most part, this movie does look a lot better. Really, this movie for the most part has film grain. All old movies are going to have film grain. If you really scrub that and you take it out and it just looks really kind of plasticky and flat, it's not really going to be that good of an upgrade because it's going to look bad. So this movie, for the most part, I would say first 80% of it definitely has film grain. It looks a lot better. It's a lot better picture quality. Again, you'll see a lot of the definition on people's faces, the background, the bigger shots, the wide spans. That's where you're going to get a lot of your 4K upgrades, and it's going to look a lot better. Some of the tracking shots, I think on one of his scenes, he's really far away and kind of zooming in. Of course, it's an older camera, so it's not going to look great. A lot of kind of some camera movements from left to right to left, wherever it's moving, they don't track as well, and it kind of doesn't look as good or as defined. But I get it. It can't be perfect. I'm not going to expect, especially with movement, for it to be the best picture quality ever. And like I said, for most of this movie, it looks pretty solid. Again, you'll see in the photos. But when you get to the actual Exorcist, because of course, it's later on in the movie, it's far over there where you actually get to the nitty-gritty of it, it doesn't look that great. It's not, and I don't know if maybe, you know, the native 4K that they had, or the native camera negative that they had, I don't know if there was maybe some damage to it or whatever it was, but when you actually get into the nitty-gritty of this movie where they're exorcising the demon, it looks flat. It looks like it's, like I mentioned earlier, it really kind of looked like there was no film grain, and it just looks really flat, and the picture quality drops. I don't know, I wasn't there, so I can't really talk about it, of course. I wasn't there, but, you know, that's your huge part of the movie. That's the selling point. That's the horrific things that Regan's doing, or what's happening, or when they're exercising her. And it just doesn't live up to it. I mean, I really wanted this to be like the end-all, be-all. I'm sure a lot of people did. Everybody loves this movie, for the most part. You know, a lot of horror fans absolutely love this movie. I wanted it to be the end-all, be-all, but it just wasn't, unfortunately. Let's just say, first 80% of the movie, or 75% of the movie, it looks pretty solid. It's the best it's going to look. At least, I'm going to assume that this is going to be the end 4K. They're not going to do another one and another one and another one. But, yeah, I would say the first 75%, 3/4 of the movie is going to look great. It's going to be the best you've ever seen. Really, the last 25% is really when it looks almost like a Blu-ray. I mean, this one right here, I believe is a 1080p, and it almost basically matched this, if not maybe a little bit worse. So I don't know exactly what happened with the 4K. I'm not going to speculate, but maybe it just was damaged and they kind of pulled as much as they could from it, and that's kind of just what we got. So either way, I'll take it. I love this movie, but it was almost a little bit of disappointment, but that's also because maybe my my hopes were so high with this movie that once I saw it, yeah, I don't know. Either way, let's talk about the audio real quick, and then we'll send you guys on your way, because I talked way too much right there. So the 4K release, we do get a upgrade with the audio. We get a Dolby Atmos track. Of course, this still does have your 2.0 mono, has a DTS HD master audio. That is actually what's on the Blu-ray. So you get a little bit of everything, and you can kind of pick and choose. I will say, watch this with the Dolby Atmos. The score, extremely creepy. If you've seen this movie, the score is fantastic. You get the tubular bells. Everything sounds amazing with this Atmos track. It's definitely a step up. So that's definitely a plus, because picture quality, a little bit kind of bad, kind of good. You know, it's not great. But I just love, I love the score. I love the atmosphere that this score makes in this movie. It really, I think it's just as important as watching the actual movie. Because, you know, if you watch a movie without any score whatsoever, any music or any background, it's just weird. It doesn't make sense. But, so that's a nice thing. You know, we get both 4Ks on theatrical and director's cut. We have a Dolby Atmos. And then for the most part, it looks pretty solid. You know, either way, let me know down in the comment section below. What did you guys think of the 4K? What did you guys think of the audio? What did you guys think of the picture quality? Do you like that both versions are on 4K? Because I absolutely love it. And I really think Scream Factory should take a look at this and do a 4K for every version. Maybe it comes out a little bit later and they're not pumping movies out left and right, and we're not getting upgrades after we get Blu-rays a year ago. But that's just me being bitter. Either way, we will see you guys in another video.